word. But I have a couple, not many, but I'm working on growing the library of free yoga asana classes on my YouTube channel. If you just look me up on YouTube, hi Brooke. You can find a couple. There's a Hatha class and a gentle class, and there's a 30-minute session for lower back health and some breathing exercises and stuff like that. So I would direct you there. But so we're going to do some Hatha Flow this morning. Any requests? If you're muted, you can just point to a body part if there's a body part request. Okay. All right, no problem. Well, I'll leave you to mute/unmute yourselves. If you have any questions during the practice, you're welcome to just call them out. And yeah, we can just do it that way. And I'll go ahead and spotlight my video so that we have the recording. All right, thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's been so, you know, Zoom, but I appreciate it because it gives me a chance to move my body too, which I don't usually do, as you know, while I'm teaching. I usually walk around, but I'm just gonna move today. And so yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let's start lying down. So as you lie on your back, bend your knees and bring your feet onto the ground. Bring your hands onto your breathing body, and let's just tune into the breath, to the nervous system. Eyes closed, breathing normal. Maybe a couple of cleansing breaths in through your nose, out through your nose or your mouth. Deep breathing in and out. And if you haven't yet, do begin to slow and lengthen your breath in through your nose, out through your nose or your mouth. One more, in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Good. Let's start slow and simple, just coordinating breath and movement with legs and arms, Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So legs and arms lifting. Then bring your knees in towards your body and your arms down by your sides. Make any adjustments here so that maybe you feel more attuned to the length of your spine along the ground. And then on your next inhalation, just legs lift up. Inhale, legs lift up. And exhale, knees in. You can circle your feet if you want. Let's do that again. Inhale, legs lift up. Feel free to move your feet. And on an exhale, knees draw back in. One more, inhaling, legs lift up. And on an exhale, knees draw back in. Let's add the arms. Inhaling, legs up, lift your arms up and keep going your arms all the way overhead. And exhale, knees in, arms down. Two more. Inhale, legs up, arms reach. Feel free to wiggle. Exhale, knees in, arms down. And again, inhale, legs up, arms reach. And exhale, knees in, arms down. And now hold on to your right knee and stretch your left leg long. Pavana Muktasana, wind removing pose or joint freeing pose. Great for digestion and elimination. Get a little hip stretch out of the deal. Deep breath. And then change sides, left leg in, right leg long. Hold your leg, your thigh, your pant leg, your shin. Deep breath. And again, deep breath. And then both knees in towards your shoulders or towards your chest. And you can hold on to your legs or try bringing your hands together and your legs closer in. And use the strength of your arms to hold your legs. Try to draw your belly organs in and down by puffing up your chest. Good, and then release and put your feet down and pause. And then let's add in a little bit of back bending. Let's do bridge pose in the same style with knees bent, arms down, feet on the floor. Oh, good. Hey, Amanda. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and lock the room here. Okay, so inhale, lift your hips up and lift your arms up and overhead toward the floor above you. So dynamic bridge. And on an exhale, lower your hips and your arms down simultaneously. Let's do 4 more of those. Inhaling, lift your hips up, arms reach. Exhaling, hips and arms down. Imagine a block between your knees, or if you have one and you want to use it, you could even put a block between your knees. Inhaling, hips up, arms reach. Exhale, hips and arms down. 2 more-ish. Inhaling, lift your hips and arms. Exhaling, lower. And 1 more, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. All right, and then bring your legs in, open your arms, and let's introduce a little bit twisting. So you could just rock your hips from side to side. I think none of us is new to each other. You probably know this. Just in my own body, this is my sensitive area. I have a lot of just, functional dysfunction in my lower body. So I like to start really slow and just rock from side to side. So maybe you identify with that too. If you want, you can make this more twisty, take your legs over to the side. You might also, just like we did before on Thursday, as you're rocking, stretch your top leg and reach your arm, same arm and leg, away from each other. So you're creating a little bit stretch on the diagonal in the twist. And really give yourself permission to move inside the shapes as you're tuning in and sensing any tension or just, hitching your giddy up, and stay longer anywhere, come out sooner, how we do. So a little bit more twisting side to side. You could add your neck in the equation and turn your head away from your legs. And then if you want to kind of play, in a somatic way, you could try continuing the movement. So as you turn to your side and reach through your top leg, imagine that somebody pulling you by your top leg, and stretch your arm away. And maybe you even come all the way over and find almost like a lazy pigeon pose. And then turn all the way back around. This doesn't have to look like anything. Somatic just means you're really tuning in and listening to kind of the natural flow of movement as you play in the rolling. So you turn to your other side, reach through your leg, mindful of furniture, and then you keep rolling and you kind of come up and onto your right hip like a pigeon shape. And then come all the way back down, rolling onto your back. I've got a burr in my pants, sorry. And then turn all the way over onto one side and make your way up and onto your hands and knees. All right, so let's do Chakra Bakasana, just a gentle forward and back rocking from hands and knees toward a child's pose. So breathing in, come up to hands and knees. You can lift your heart some. Exhaling, hips back. And this may even look something like a lazy upward facing dog as you come forward. You might explore dipping your hips down or even bending your elbows. And then on an exhalation, you can come back toward a child's pose. Arms, hands and knees may be a little bit longer gait than you would if you were doing a typical hands and knees shape, since we're inviting a little bit more movement through the hips. So exhaling brings you back to child's pose. Inhaling brings you forward toward hands and knees or a cobra-like shape or an upward dog-like shape. Exhaling back toward a child's pose. And a couple more times like that, just rocking forward and back. And it's okay if your breath doesn't coordinate exactly, just make sure that you're breathing long and slow. And feel free to hold and wiggle anywhere inside the shapes. All right, the next time you come forward, snake your way all the way down onto your belly and find your cobra shape. So toes uncurl, hands frame the chest, maybe you wriggle a little bit through your shoulders, and then squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other on the back. And as you inhale, lift your heart and lift your head, cobra pose. You don't have to come high. Hold here as you breathe. Maybe you lower enough to try hovering your hands. Maybe arms fly backward. And then when you're ready to come out on an exhale, lower down, press up to your hands and knees, take a breath. And then your choice, you could come toward a puppy pose, walk your hands forward, keep your hips more or less over your knees. And you can, we'll spend about 10 breaths here. So if you want, you can do several breaths holding here in your puppy pose, and then transition toward a downward facing dog, or you could practice a child's pose and a puppy pose, your choice. So take about 5 more full cycles of breath here, wherever you are. Child's pose, puppy pose, downward facing dog. Deep, even inhale and exhale. Best you can through your nose. And then when you're ready, make your way to a standing forward bend. Feel free to separate your feet to bend your knees any amount. And you're also welcome to shift inside the shape. Let this be liquid, especially in the morning, especially in times like these, meaning, you know, like around a vacation time, around a holiday time. Give yourself permission to just move in a fluid way without agenda. And then bend your knees, sitting your hips back, make your way up toward a chair-like shape. So hands can come to your knees, or you can bring your hands together in front of your heart, or you can reach your arms up and overhead. Long, slow breath. Weight in your heels, try to sink your hip creases back, and at the same time, stretch your upper body away from your lower body. You could even give yourself a little bit of traction, right? And put your hands on your top thighs and push down to lengthen through your hips, maybe even a little waggle of your hips from side to side. Some of you might find a sensation of deep ache in your spine. For me, that's how it feels when I get some spinal decompression. Deep breathing. And then press down through your feet, draw your navel in. Inhale, stand up, arms up. And exhaling, arms down. Welcome to standing. Feel free to shift inside the shape. Spotlighting video is so funny because I can't see you at all. So thank you for being here. I really, really am glad that we're spending this time together. So hands together in front of your heart. Find your mountain pose. Some of you might prefer legs, feet together. You can squeeze and tone and firm your leg muscles, or you can stand with your feet hip socket distance apart. Lift your chest, deep breathing, soft eyes. Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, standing half moon pose. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers, point your first fingers toward the ceiling, and then exhaling, tip to the right. Arm can come down. You can put your hand on your hip. That's fine. Remember, this can be more bendy and soft and more mobile if that suits you. And then on an inhale, come up, heels down, reach up. Exhaling, tip left. Long, slow breathing. This can be bendy and mobile. Come back to the middle, breathing in, stretch up, and then exhale, fold forward. Feel free to bend and soften. On an inhale, lift up halfway, stretch your heart forward. Exhaling, step your left foot back, turn your heel down, bend your right knee. Inhale, come up, warrior one. Give yourself a moment to arrive. Hips can turn open toward the side. You might try turning to a little bit of a twist, your heart and shoulders forward. On an exhale, lower your hands down to frame your front foot or inside your front foot. Come high on the ball of your left foot. Maybe a little bit, I just did this kind of unconsciously. Maybe you shift your hips back for a moment and lengthen your front leg. And then return to your lunge. You could also explore lowering the back knee, lifting up. So just range and rove inside of your lunge for a moment. Long, slow breathing. And then when you feel ready, we'll stick a lunge. So knee down or knee up, your choice. Hands can come to your front thigh and pause. Or as you breathe in, you can reach your arms up. So give yourself permission now that we're a little ways in to the practice. Give yourself permission for the first couple rounds of breath to shift inside the shape. And then let's try holding 3 breaths without much outer movement. So it's just the inner movement of the breath inside a held shape. On an exhalation, lower your hands down. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee and thigh, and then step forward. On an inhale, lift up halfway. And exhaling, fold. Step your right foot back. Turn your heel down. Bend your left knee. Inhale, come up, warrior one, left side. Long, slow breath. Can you become body breathing and nothing more? Just a body breathing. Pure sensation, pure awareness, sensation of body breathing. On an exhalation, lower your hands, come high on the ball of your right foot, and then explore inside of a lunge. So rock forward and back. Maybe you lengthen the left leg and bend the right. You could lower your right knee. You can move your hips inside this shape. Maybe you lift up toward a high lunge for a moment. The upper body, that is, lifting. And then find your way into a held lunge. Reaching hands to thigh or arms up and overhead, soft eyes. Still give yourself permission, even though you're sticking basically to one shape here, give yourself permission to wiggle inside the shape for a couple more rounds of breath. And then 3 breaths without much outer movement. And then when you're ready, lower your hands, framing your front foot or inside of your front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your knee and thigh. This time to transition, turn toward your right. Hello. So wide legs, and then walk your hands forward toward a wide-legged downward facing dog. Same invitation to movement for the first 3 to 5 breaths inside the shape, and then stillness for the last 3 to 5 breaths. So you might bend one knee and then the other, or move through your spine, shift through your shoulders. And then try to settle in, wide-legged, downward facing dog, 3 to 5 breaths. Outer body holding in relative stillness, inner body breathing, agent of change from the inside. When you're ready to come out, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's turn toward right foot for a warrior 2 shape. So turn your right toes out, left toes in, bend your right knee. Inhaling, come up, open your arms, warrior 2. Long, slow breath. So the invitation today in each shape is to shift inside the shape. First couple rounds of breath. And this doesn't have to look like anything. I like jellyfish, octopus-like movement for shoulders. And then the last few rounds of breath, as you choose your shape, hold in outer stillness with the depth of your breath, changing awareness from the inside. When you're ready, next shape is triangle pose. So if you need to, you can change your foot stance. I'm going to narrow mine a little bit, front to back, and widen side to side. Let your hips turn slightly forward. Front knee can bend some here. And breathing, slide your right hand down. You might lengthen your leg once you get there. And hand can come to your leg, your ankle, or maybe toward the ground. And then lift your left arm up. Press through the big toe mounts. Heart and nose in the same line. And hold here as you breathe. You can take variation. Maybe you stretch your left arm overhead. Some of you might explore reaching your right arm forward as well. You could look down and wrap your top arm around behind you. And then explore balancing here. So half moon pose number 2. So you could come up and step into a starfish-like shape, a lifted starfish. Or you can reach your right hand toward the ground and lift your left leg up. Always permission, I know for many of us, this ain't our first rodeo. So if you're familiar with different variations of this balancing shape, you can explore. Maybe there's a bind here toward your left foot. Or like we did on the floor, you might reach your left arm and leg away from each other here. And then when you're ready to come out, mosey on through toward your half forward bend here, wide-legged. So turn towards your side and step your feet parallel-ish. And then if you want, you can bow in again. Maybe this time hands come back between your feet, or keep going through your feet toward the space behind you. And breathe. 2 more full cycles of breath. Can you become just / incredibly a body breathing? And then turn toward your left foot. So left toes out, right toes in, and come up, warrior 2, left side. First 3 to 5 breaths, wiggle asana inside of warrior 2. I've been exploring this a lot. And to wiggle in some of these shapes, need to actually change the foundation. So there's a little more wiggle room. Like you might almost be like shifting toward a goddess shape with your feet. So give your feet permission to move if you're going to shift for your hips. And then same thing, you could do, some movement for your arms. And then settle in towards your warrior 2 shape. 3 to 5 breaths. Lengthen your left leg. Change your foot stance if you want to, because triangle pose. Let your hips turn slightly forward. Left knee doesn't have to lengthen fully. You make your way down, hand towards your shin or towards your ankle or the floor. Over time, left leg might lengthen here. And right arm up. Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. So again, several rounds of breath to explore. You might look down, flip your top hand, palm facing back, and wrap your arm around behind you. Or you could explore some strength building through your legs and core. And hover, arms reaching out. And stay, or make your way toward a balance. So you could come up more. Left toes can turn toward the right a little bit. And then lift your back leg. Or you can reach your left hand down toward the floor. There could be a bind here. You could try reaching your right arm and your right leg long and away from each other. When you're ready to come out, bend your joints and mosey your way back toward the middle. This time, turn your toes out slightly, knees out slightly and bent, and then walk your hands up to your knees. So you're in this like football huddle shape. And then angle your hips down, tilt your torso up, and we're here in Utthita Konasana, goddess pose, fierce double angle pose. Reach your arms up, elbows bending. Soft face. And you could try shifting some here. So load up into your right foot, maybe left, that would be your right elbow. Comes down, you could stretch, almost like you're headed toward a side angle pose. And then come back to the middle. Feel free to lengthen your legs if you want to, need to. Come back down, load up into your left leg. Left elbow could reach down, forearm is fine, or hand. And stretch your right arm. And then one more time each side. And you can be more brisk about it the second time. And then come back to the middle, stand up. And then lower your arms down and step your feet in and under you. Pause, Tadasana. Let's try balancing. So root into your left hip and foot and bend your right knee. This is good yoga, just right here. Or you can bring your foot to your shin, tree pose. Or you can reach foot towards your thigh. So if your foot comes to your thigh, make sure your toes are above your knee, so you're not pressing into your knee joint. And arms can open out or reach up. You can stay here, or if you'd like, balance working well for you, or maybe balance isn't working well for you and you put your hand on a wall. You could explore finding some movement for your right outer hip, holding on, reaching towards your shin, or maybe your foot with your opposite hand, and then lift your leg up like a standing pigeon. Almost like you're trying to direct, here, let's turn to the side so you can see, like you're trying to direct your heel towards your left hip crease. And then this could come more toward a half lotus-like shape, like a Bikram yoga style tree stand, mindful of your knee. Or you can work on lifting your leg in towards your body. And then when you're done, lower your foot, pause. Root through your right hip and foot, bend your left knee. Look at something that's not gonna move. So you can keep your toes down for balance, or you can put your shin on your thigh. Remember, you can use a wall. Arms out or hands before your heart, or arms up. Foot can come toward your thigh. Keep breathing. You could reach in the direction of your foot. Feel free to put your hand on a wall. And maybe there's some outer hip work here. Or you're working in the direction of a half lotus-like shape. These lotus-like shapes, important to go super slow. Like think in terms of years, not days or weeks. All right, so it doesn't matter how far down your knee goes here, just listen into your hip. And then when you're ready to come out, release, and feel free to wiggle. So this next balancing, again, you're welcome to use a wall if you want to. Let's look at hand to foot pose number 2. So Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana 2. So lift your right knee up more towards your armpit this time. That's good yoga. Maybe you take your left arm out toward the left. You could also explore turning your gaze to look left and stay, or you can reach toward your big toe, put your peace fingers where your flip-flops go, and extend your leg. I like to hold on to the outside of my foot and explore extending the leg. Woo, my balance is different today. Hold here as you breathe. And then when you're ready to come out, try and release through your lotus. Come on down, pause. Second side, root through your right hip and foot and bring your left knee up. Hold on to your knee. Right arm can come out. You could try turning your head toward the right. You can reach toward your left big toe or the outside of your left foot. And slowly extend your leg out. So it's not going directly out toward the side. It really kind of comes more forward at a 45-degree angle. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready to come out, try and release with as much grace as you can muster. Maybe you come through that pigeony lotus leg shape and return your feet side by side. Pause and breathe. All right, turn toward the top of your mat space. Inhaling, reach up. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhaling, lift up halfway. Plant your hands, and if you want to vinyasa, you can jump back through plank, or you can come straight back to downward facing dog. From plank, you can chaturanga. Inhale, breathing, cobra, upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. All right, and then come to your knees and then to a tall kneeling position. And let's explore a little bit camel pose. So hands to your hips, back pockets. Lift your heart, and this could be a plenty. You can just stay here. If it's in your wheelhouse today, maybe hands come down more towards your butt or thighs. You could tuck your toes under so your heels are a little higher up and reach back in the direction of your heels. If it works for your head and neck, you could carefully release your head and neck back. And then when you're ready to come out, inhale, lift up through your chest. And then exhale, sit back. If it works for you to sit with your legs folded under you, you can do that, or just shift your hips over to one side and bring your legs out in front of you. So your choice. Pause, sitting. And then do shift your hips to one side if you haven't yet, and bring your legs out in front of you. We're going to explore balancing on the butt, on your sitting bones. So bend your knees some here, and we're going to find something like boat pose. So this is a good posture just right here as it is, right? You can stay here. You could try bringing your hands up, and maybe you experiment with tilting back. This is good yoga, where you can try lifting one leg and then the other. If you feel up for lifting both legs, you can explore with that. And maybe you lift one leg and lower the other from the lifted position. Woo. And then lower down and sit cross-legged or with the soles of your feet together. And if you want, you can wiggle a little bit from side to side. Let's try again, boat. This time, instead of tipping back with a long spine, I want you to try tucking your chin and rounding your back. The chin and rounding. And then, right, shoulders are coming more forward, rounded forward shoulders. Lift your legs. And maybe if your legs extend here, the feet come higher than the head. And then when you're ready to come out, you can bend your knees again and come to your cross-legged position or back to Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together. And you can wobble here. And then let's do some form of a seated twist. So one option is to bring your right leg in, stretch your left leg long, take your hip back and turn towards your right leg. Or you could turn away from your right leg, left hand behind you, right arm and right leg pressing into each other, turn. And then when you're ready, try the second side, come back to the middle. Bring your left knee in, take your left hip back, and then hold on to your left knee. Or you could turn away from your left knee. So right hand behind you, press your left arm and leg into each other. And this one, I like to push into the foot, lift heel, and kind of lift and turn. So I'm almost getting like more of a stretch through right side body here. And then come back to the middle. And then we'll explore Upavishta Konasana in a balancing position. So first, let's do Upavishta Konasana with legs down. So separate your feet. Back a little bit here. Separate your feet any amount. So if this posture is challenging for you, it might manifest as a backward tilt through your pelvis. So in that case, feel free to bend your knees and you can lean back here. Okay, so that's a good option. And then any amount, if it works for you, you can pitch forward. Maybe hands walk forward. Forearms could come down. And notice here if you are, just how you're interacting with this shape. Is it easy for you to collapse inside this shape and not do any work? So for me, I find that in my legs, I have some flexibility to play with. So I'm going to keep my legs nice and strong here. And I might not come down as far. And that's a good thing. Especially in Hatha yoga, we're trying to keep active muscle stretching and active muscle strengthening. So we keep things powered up. So you can stay here. If you're one who can bring forearms down, you might explore bringing the forehead down. Keep breathing. And then maybe if your forehead comes down, you can reach in the direction of your toes and hold on to your toes. And then when you're ready to come out, lift your crotch muscles up to support you as you breathe in, lift all the way up. Okay, I'm going to turn to face the back here. And we can also explore, if you'd like, a lifted version of this posture. So feet separate, and you can hold on to your knees or your shins as you practice balancing here on your sitting bones. Or I'm actually just behind my sitting bones, kind of more like toward the tail. And if you want to explore here, the bind we found toward the end of the forward bending version, you can hold on to your toes or the outer edges of your feet and extend legs out. And then once you get stable here, you can try lifting your chest and transferring your gaze upward. Breathe. And then when you're ready to come out, try to do so with as much grace as you can muster. It's okay if you roll back. And then to release here, reline up with your mat, bend your knees, scooch your hips forward, and then roll down onto your back. And once you get to your back, pause, knees bent, feet on the floor, and just observe. Notice the effect of your postures and of your practice on your physical body. Breathing easy, eyes open. Just kind of pedestrian, just taking a rest. Notice the effects of your practice on your breathing body. Where do you notice your breath now? And notice the quality of your thoughts. Good. Let's explore, we'll kind of bookend the practice here. So let's explore a similar movement style, that somatic movement. I'm going to scoot myself forward a little bit because I ran into my chair last time. And do some side to side rolling. So knees and arms open, and then take your knees to the right and the left. Or your feet can stay down and just knees right and left. So it's a fairly deep forward bend. We do the wide-legged seated forward bend and the lifted wide-legged balancing shape. So just notice any shift in sensation in your lower back and your hips, and give yourself permission to explore here in small, medium, or large twisting. And I invite you to try the lifted leg, the upper leg extending. So you're finding that reach of your left foot and your left hand away from each other. So inside of the twist, we also get some side body stretching. You also might find, when I'm here, I can't see myself in the movie. You also might find some pec muscle relief work by inside the twist, taking your arm through a cactus shape as you hold. So just some things to explore. And whatever you do on one side, you can explore something like it on the other side. Remembering no two bodies the same, no two sides of the same body the same. And then, and no, you can also explore, so there's kind of like a rocking movement to this, right? So you might also explore following the leg to come up toward a pigeon-like shape. It's almost like someone is pulling you up by your ankle. So there's a movement toward a pigeon-like shape. And then drawing you back around by your arm. And over. And then stretching left arm and left leg away from each other. And then somebody pulling you by your left ankle. And you come up and toward a pigeon-like shape on the right side. So a couple times you can explore like this. Feel free to hold anywhere. And remember, this doesn't have to look like anything. Like another version of the swing might be taking your leg back and reaching for your lifted foot with your hand. I don't know. When you're done, stop in the middle. Pause. Knees bent, feet on the floor. And observe. So let's do, we'll do one more posture and then Shavasana. And then before we part ways today, we'll do a little meditation after Shavasana today. So let's do pencil stretching or Tadaka Mudra. So stretch your legs long on the floor, flex your feet or point your toes, your choice. Reach your arms overhead, hook your thumbs. And 3 times. Breathe in, stretch long, firm and tone, squinch your face. Exhaling, soften. 2 more. Breathe in, reach and stretch. Soften on exhale. Last one. Breathing in, reach and stretch, firm and tone. Exhale and soften. And then start to rearrange your body and prepare for your Shavasana, your relaxation shape. Give yourself some time to find a blanket if you want, or put on socks. Cover your eyes. And we'll spend a few minutes here in Shavasana. Good. So without changing anything, just bring awareness back to the sensation of body resting. And then breathe. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And breathing easy, start to move again, toes and fingers, feet and hands, legs moving and arms moving. And whole body moving as you prepare to come up sitting. You're welcome to sit up on something, blanket or block, below. And find your meditative seat. So cross-legged or on your heels or with your legs outstretched, your choice. And bring your hands to rest on your lap somewhere so that your shoulders are broad, arms easily descending, relaxed down from your shoulders. And turn attention to your breath. In long and slow through your nose. And out through pursed lips. Again, in long and slow through your nose. Out through pursed lips. Last one like that, in through your nose. Out through pursed lips. Segmented exhale with arms. So breathe in, one full inhalation, arms lift up and overhead. Now exhaling 3 parts, arms move 1/3, 2/3 out, and then breath all the way out, arms down. Do that 4 more times. So breathe in, long and slow, arms lift up. Exhale 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale 1, 2, 3. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale 1, 2, 3. Big breath in, reach out. And easy exhale. Arms down. Good. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Let your breath come back to its ease. Pause. And observe. Scan through sensation present in your physical body. And the quality of your breath, your breathing body. Notice the flow of your thoughts. Good. Bow your head to your own heart. Thank yourself for creating the time and space to practice yoga this morning. I'm honored to be your guide. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste.